And then if you really love to play, you got to say to yourself, I might get paid, I might not get paid. It's not about the money. I've been doing this my whole life. I've been working to play. I have my whole house is full of gear. I mean, I play drums, I play keyboard, I play guitar. I do it all, and it's been my passion forever, and I'm not giving it up. I've been writing since 1984. But the thing is, I never really played. I played piano. In 1990s, I played piano in Las Vegas. I had a 2-year residence in Casino Royale.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I went there as a drummer. But then here's what happened. Drummers were being pushed out by drum machines, for one thing.
Right.
Karaoke was hitting hard. I mean, there's karaoke bars really banging it down. And so I was doing a duo with my wife, right? And I
Hmm.
thought, you know what? I'll get a Korg O&W. You had to put floppy disks in it at that time. I'll put the discs in, I'll load the discs, I'll program the discs, I'll buy a crap load of lights, and I did. And my wife was smoking hot. So I thought, you know what? I'll make this work. And she said, if you want to play Vegas, I'll get us some Vegas. She said, really? She said, just teach me how to sing better, Because my wife was a super entertainer, and it's like I could do it. It took me a year and a half. And then she got on the phone with Debbie Beebe. And pretty soon I'm at Casino Royale, and then I was there for a year. And then I was down at the Fiesta. I was out at Sam's Town, and I played that sports bar out there for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. Did a whole bunch of stuff out there. But I did it all just with that Corgo and W.
Where the previous Vegas dream stopped, Darrell and Vicky moved forward together. They were willing to make the sacrifices, leaving Florida, and build a life around their shared goal. Performing under the names 3D and Rip Rap, they combined oldies, pop, vocals, and electronic instrumentation to keep Las Vegas audiences moving. Their work included Sam's Town and an extended engagement at Casino Royale on the Las Vegas Strip. They weren't simply two musicians sharing a stage, they were husband and wife, creative partners, and best friends building the dream together.
I always had to prove myself, which is cool.
And but you know what? But you were in the place that it matters like a lot the most. I'm a pianist first, then keyboardist, and so it gives you the best of both worlds, and I worked as a duo with a drummer for a lot of years because we could get away with sounding like a band without being a band.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we got more work that way. So by the way, everybody, we're visiting with Rutram, hailing from Florida, singer-songwriter, pianist, drummer, multi-instrumentalist, creating music and inspiring people to embrace what brings us all together and just the beauty of music. So we're talking about, we're going backwards, forwards. We're gonna cover it all and see, talk about your music and right now we're talking about some of your
Thank
history
you.
in Las Vegas and how exciting, and that's a huge accomplishment as an artist, and to be
Thanks.
able to be in that space. It's a tough area out there.
It is really tough. And, like I have a lot of friends that are at that time, especially, they were using like Band in the Box and a bunch of stuff like that. And they'd be like two girls, and then a keyboard player and a guitar player. So they look like a band, right? No drummer a lot of times, but they would always be flashing, with the glitter and all the fancy, crazy stuff, and trying to sell themselves. And then I'm like, I'd talk to them and they'd say, how do you do it? And I'm like, don't try to sell yourself so hard. They would literally like, doing Alone and screaming, the heart songs. And I'm like, that's not really what it's about when you go there. It's about a connection with the people. You know what I mean? Like when you're playing, when I was upstairs at Casino Royale, sometimes it was really slow and intimate, but you'd have to keep a consistency about you because, like Tom Alardi, he'd come and see us. He actually slept right behind us in the stage, and he'd come out there and you want to be really consistent with it. You can't say, oh, I'm coming out there balls to the wall and I'm just going to crank it out. Well, they know that you're not going to do that the whole time. You can't do it the whole time. So what can you do? You have to breathe with it. You know what I mean? And that's what me and Vicky did. And then like we would do some 50s, and then Vicky would talk and she was funny and she had this funny giggle. And so then we went to the Beach Boys, put on a hat, whatever, you know what I mean? And then I had this disco thing because I I really went to American DJ and I bought all those automated ones, like the Avengers and the spinners and the cop lights and stuff. And so when I'd program that to the music. So Get Down Tonight or something like that, right? Shake Your Booty. When those would come on, everything would go crazy. And she would really let it go. But then she could slow down and do Kiss, Angel of the Morning by Juice Newton. It's fun. It really is. And I love people, no matter, and I don't care if there's 5 people out there. Truthfully, you could play to one person. If one person is really getting it, I could play to one person. I just can't. You know what I mean? Like you make eye contact with one person in that crowd. It's like, cool, I'm good. You know
That's
what I
all
mean?
you need. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's like that. It's a give and take thing. It's a feed thing. You know what I mean? And like an energy thing almost. And that's kind of like my music is about that. Literally feeding back and forth with music. Cause my thing in life is connection. You know what I mean? People don't connect like they once did. You know what I mean? And when I record my stuff, I literally use GarageBand. I keep it really, really simple. I don't overprocess. I underprocess because I know that when they go to grab it, like for Spotify or whatever, they're going to squish it if you overprocess it. So I underprocess it. And like the song I just did, the last one, they left it, it's called lossless, whatever. They kind of left it with the dynamics that I play with, because I'm a dynamic drummer. You know what I mean? Like let's get down, bop, 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 you know what I mean? And really nail it. And that's how I do my stuff. And I wanted that to come across because that gives the goosebumps. You know what I mean? That feeds it in. That over compression that I hear so much of is because people will submit super bass or whatever you want to call it. And then, those high shrilly guitars, it's like, you don't have to be high and shrilly to sound really good. You know what I mean? You got to be able to use your effects right. You got to be able to, with your low end, you want to do the 100 cut maybe on the vocals so they don't rumble. I mean, and that's what I do when I EQ my stuff that I'm doing as Rotrum. I keep it really, really simple, yet I keep it really, really human. That's what I try to do to make people feel, Anyway.
Right. And that's what we lack with electronic. We have too much electronics in the mix, that authenticity and when things were analog and we could hear the snap, crackle, and pop, that did something to you when you listen to a record, or something. So it's just, but we're also adapting and changing with the times too. So, like you mentioned about things being an algorithm. So and we do have to stay on top of what's happening so we stay relevant. That's important too. You've been doing this a really long time. It started, at a very early age, I imagine. Tell us a little bit about growing up and kind of when the music bug first hit you.
Thanks. So when I was 5 years old, my dad, he's always played piano. My dad plays honky-tonk piano. My dad plays piano like Jerry Lee Lewis. There is nobody that I've ever seen better than my dad. And now he's 83 years old and to see his bony fingers just going all over the keyboard like that. I'm like, wow, that just don't happen anymore. Because now we kind of play in one spot. We lift the bass to the left, right? And then we do a little solo thing on the right side. And then we kind of come back to center and we kind of stay within our 2 octaves or whatever, right? But he's like all over the place, with that ragtime type of piano. So then I'm thinking, okay, that's cool. I didn't really like the music because I didn't really like old time, like polkas and that kind of stuff. And I didn't know if I liked 50s or not. I was little, but he said, you got to learn how to play piano. And I thought, okay, I could do it because I watch him, right? You watch somebody and you think, oh, I could do it. But it's like, people say that all the time, right? That looks easy. And so I start playing. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do this. I mean, I was little. I was only child. I grew up with total music, the jukebox. I grew up in bars, I just did. And then the jukebox was my best friend in quarters or dimes, whatever it took. Anyway, I learned to play piano. And then by 8 years old, I thought, I don't know if I want to play piano. My uncle came over and he played guitar. And I thought, wow, how cool, And then so I thought, my dad played ukulele too. And then he played some guitar. And I asked him could I just learn to play guitar too, Well, then I just started, okay, I'm going to play guitar.
Before he could even read music, Darrell Jones was already holding it in his hands. Music wasn't something he discovered. It was something he absorbed. From clutching a 45 record at 2 years old to piano lessons, guitar and drums, the thread was already there from the beginning.
And then this is so funny because I went to a party and I went downstairs to this guy's house. I was 10 years old. I went downstairs and the guy had a studio. Everything is set up, And my mom and dad were upstairs drinking, partying with all people, I grew up with that crowd. I'm older, so it's like, everything was free. Everything was free love and free everything. He said, do you think you can play? And I said, yeah. And I went over and sat at the drums. Well, guess what? I couldn't reach none of the pedals, right? So then he kind of lowers the seat as far as it'll go, and he puts these flat blocks on the pedals. I literally sat down the first time I could ever sat down drum set and played drums, but because I played guitar and piano. You see what I'm saying? So then on the way home, I asked my dad, I said, do you think I'd get a drum set? I was really shy. And I thought if I hid behind the drum set, I could be in a rock band because I knew I couldn't do it as a guitar player. I was too scared, and I didn't see any piano players in any real rock bands that I was listening to, like Led Zeppelin and stuff. I mean, the one guy plays a little bit of piano, but mostly bass, right? Anyways, I thought, okay, I really want to play drums. My dad said, well, he said, if you're going to play drums, you got to learn to play on your lap. He said, I want to watch you learn to play on your lap because drums are really expensive, And I thought, okay, I will. And I learned to play on my lap. And I remember going home one day and said, okay, put on the radio, And this was after a couple months. And I'm playing on my lap. And he's like, all right, you're playing on your lap. And I came from a small town, right? And my dad played piano and he also played accordion. And then his friend played guitar really, really well, and they always played around, but they could never really find a drummer. And I thinking, oh, my dad's going to want me to play with them. I know he is, and I got really, really excited. And I thought, cool. And he goes and he finds me a $150 drum set. Now watch this. The cymbals were like trash can lids, right? There was no hi-hat, right? It was an old Apollo drum set from really early 60s or 50s. It was totally trashed. And the pedal kept breaking, the bass drum pedal. He said, you learn to play on that. He said, I'll buy you some real drums. Now, it took me about 3 months. So he says, okay. He said, I'm going to buy you some drums. He said, I'm going to give you some money for your birthday and I'm going to give you some money for Christmas. He said, you buy a stereo and a used set of drums, you could buy a new set of drums. Well, everybody had those Tamas, those silver ones with the concert toms with the single head. And I thought, oh, wow, I'm gonna go for the drums, I said. And then when I showed him the drums that I wanted, of course, at that time, when you think about 1978, whatever, the drums were really, really expensive. I mean, they just were. I did not think my dad was going 2,200 on those drums, but he did. I still got them. They're in my bedroom. It's huge. I got the whole thing, the whole silver drum set. Yeah, I've had it my whole life. I never let it go, But I ended up playing out with that, and then I ended up playing in a rock band. I played with my dad, weddings and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I played in a rock band, and I played. I was underage, but I had long hair and I had pimples on my face. I looked a lot older, and I really got by with it. I played the places that Prince played because I played in Minneapolis, So I played a lot of those same kind of places. New wave stuff, rock and roll, just nothing too heavy, but just cool stuff, for that time. And I just kept going and going with that. And then my dad and I were playing at a bank Christmas party one night, and we went out and it was so cold, and we were tearing down our equipment, right? And we're loading up the equipment. And I'm like, oh my God, you're at 3:30 in the morning and it's a blizzard out. And it's like, whoa, it's really cold, And then we get home, and then my dad had gotten laid off from his job. And my mom said, you guys could just do what you're doing right now in Florida. My dad lives down there, And then I thought, oh, wow, cool, So 1984, whatever, here I am. I'm in Florida. And then really me and my dad, within a month, we had landed a solid house gig right here at a Christmas restaurant. And then we played there a couple of years. But that was the most coolest thing ever. Came right to Florida and started working right away. And then we did this extra thing where my dad would play his accordion and we go around table to table and my dad would sing and, I'd sing with him, but my dad would just play accordion mostly. And I would sing. And then it was like, wow, people really, it really made people feel good.
Throughout the 1980s, Darrell performed on and off for several years with his father, who played piano and accordion. Billed as the father and son team, the Darrell Boys, they entertained at the Paw Paw Tree in Newport Richey, Florida. Singing Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, and classics such as Book of Love and Oh Donna, Darrell absorbed the rhythms, phrasing, and spirit that would later become part of his rockabilly sound.
A lot of people, they get in this thing where they say, oh, I could never do that music. I don't like country. I don't like whatever. And it's like, the real musicians that I see, that they like, they could, like Carrie Underwood, man, going out and singing with Motley Crue or something. I'm just saying, those people, that type of thing, that mentality, that's a real entertainer to me. You know what I mean? Just being totally dead centered on, nope, I'm only doing classic rock. I don't do nothing else. It's not me, So with my dad, I was doing all that, right? And then I thought, I really liked electronics. I started seeing like electronic drums and stuff, and people making fun of them, and I thought, I'm off center and I don't care, So I'm thinking, Tama Techstar, because I had the other Tamas, Tama Techstar, I'm going to go for it, So I went and took out a loan and I got Tama Techstar. Then I went to Roland. Then I went to Simmons. And then I landed Disney World because of those electronic drums. And then I did Disney World. Yeah, for about a year and a half.
By 8th grade, music had moved from Darrell Jones' living room to the stage. As drummer and vocalist for the three-piece rock band Borealis, Darrell rehearsed 3 to 4 hours a night, performed throughout the Midwest, and helped write original songs. A 1981 newspaper feature captured the 17-year-old already dreaming big and working hard enough to make it real.
I like major key because they feel good. They like lift you up, kind of. You know what I mean? More
right,
so.
and that's kind of where your music lies. You would know you wanted to be inspired by love, the beauty of where you are there, the Gulf Coast. Being able to appreciate the small things, the things that bring us joy in life. Your single, "This Is All We Got," come on, let's dance, was just featured on the halftime segment in the Second Opinion Sports Show that airs on CW in Eastern North Carolina. So we're excited that those folks got a chance to hear your new single and be able to.
Came to the shore where the sun kisses the tide. You gave me something I yearned for, a place to hide. And I ask for nothing more than this grace. The land could crumble to the sea, but I found my space. Each wave a whisper, each breeze a song of salt in the air. And life could only be but a dream if we just dare. So hold my hand, let's run along the sand. Sunsets make us whole. With every step we're painting colors on the canvas of our soul. Yesterday I took the path you threw me, shining bright like gold. Left alone the light I could see. It's a story to be told. Everything that stands before me sky so clear. Given time, the man I could be, the future draws near. Wasted days and wasted moments, with no more time to pretend. This is all we got, our time is now. Come on, let's dance. Peace of mind, it's a reaction, riding waves of truth. Accept your life as it comes, live free, stay true. We only get one chance, no turning back, here we stand. So keep that chin up, your feet on the ground, love has a plan. Yesterday I took the path you threw me, shining bright like gold. Left alone the light I could see. It's a story to be told. Everything that stands before me, on the sky so clear. Given time, the man I could be, the future draws near. Wasted days and wasted moments, no more time to pretend. This is all we got, our time is now. Come on, let's dance. The ocean calls our names. Ride the waves. We claim our rightful fame. Come with me. Through every storm we face. Rise again. With love we find our place. Yesterday I took the path you threw me, shining, shining bright like gold. Left alone the light I could see. It's a story to be told. All we got, our time is now. Let's take a chance. Here under the bright, bright sun, we'll find the life we've meant. This is all we got, our time is now. Come on, let's dance.
I love making people happy. And if I can make it happy with my music, you know, that's the biggest gift for me. That's really all I want. I don't want anything. I really don't want anything. I've done everything I want to do. I don't want to do nothing. I'll be doing this till I'm 100. I'll be sitting right here. And it's like, cool. You know what I mean?
Well, it clearly is your calling, and it's something that you were born to do. And, and having the support of parents when it comes to music is even so much more awesome too, because you have that somebody there to push you. And Dad made some good moves with, some of the things that he encouraged you to do to make sure you were serious and you're really wanted to be on that path, and that's really awesome. My mom was a concert classical pianist, so
Cool.
I grew up hearing her, and then she made sure that I heard everything.
Yeah.
So I heard it all. I heard all the best of the best that was ever written and recorded, and of everything from rock to just all of it. So
Yeah.
I grew up with this really strong love and appreciation for all music because
Good for you.
it all speaks to us.
You look like a
And-
piano player.
Really? Really?
I mean, you just feel like a piano player when I look at you. Yeah, you do. You know how you can kind
Piano,
of tell that?
the piano's very moody. That's the cool thing about the instrument. You can pretty much express any mood or emotion through the piano.
Yeah.
And it's very harmonic. So, it resonates with people. It doesn't matter what kind of day you're having, you're gonna feel something when you hear it. So
That's exactly what my dad said. My dad would always say, you know, really, all you gotta do is learn to play piano. You can play anything.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
I have officially launched my first Ava Bentley exclusive Airbnb in Galveston, Texas. The DeForest house, built in 1883, is preserved with both luxury and history. Book your stay today on Airbnb. When you book the house, tell them you saw this ad, and you will receive a free Ava Bentley gift bag when you check in.
A Reliable Pest Control is committed to providing great customer service using the best industry-leading products and most of all, reliability. Family owned and operated for over 25 years, we offer faithful, friendly service at fair rates. Get started today at justdeadbugs.com. A Reliable Pest Control, the only name you need to know when you've got bugs and you want them gone. Call 258-4011.